Hey everybody, it's Candy, aka Brown Eyed Girl 69. How y'all doing tonight? Well, this video is kind of impromptu, I suppose. Spontaneous. Sitting here having some thoughts and basically talking out loud to myself. And then I just decided that I'd turn the camera on and start talking about certain things. So if I don't look at the camera, it's all good. Because I am going to sit here and have a discussion, I guess, with the air, whatever. I've been thinking a lot about... See, this is the thing, it's hard for me to really describe what I've been going through. Not that I'm having anything happen to me that's like, out-of-body experiences or paranormal or anything like that. I just feel like I'm being elevated in consciousness, but it's hard to describe the elevation that I've been having. But it's like an awareness. I feel like I have a different awareness now on how I look at things, or maybe what I should do with my life. I guess I'm starting to realize certain things that in life that are important, certain things that aren't, and that I could sit here all day long and say that I'm going to do something, but unless I put the action forth to do that specific thing, it'll never get done. Just like I could sit here and talk about losing weight all day long, but if I don't put the action forth to do it, then you think it's just going to fall off of me? Well, a couple years ago I got lucky. And I kind of want to get, since we're on the subject matter, I'll just give a little bit of an update on that. I guess it's been a month since I stopped drinking soda, and I haven't really noticed any weight loss, but I haven't noticed any weight gain either. But I do feel different. I feel like I've lost more inches. And I think that's sort of what happens to me in the beginning is I'll lose inches and then the pounds start shedding. But just that one thing right there, I had to change that. If I want to continue and move forward with, then I'll, need to put forth more action, like going and walking or exercising and making it become a habit, so to speak. I can have all the tools at my fingertips, but if I don't utilize them, then what good are they to me? And that applies in all aspects of life, I guess. And that's what I've been sitting here thinking about. And I've been sitting here thinking about, like, how we're in this body and we're confined by time. Even though time doesn't really exist outside of this physical realm, our higher consciousness is basically in another realm. Where time doesn't exist. So our higher consciousness already knows what's happening and what's going to happen. But our physical body and our earthly consciousness doesn't know. Because if we was to know all the things, we wouldn't grow, we wouldn't have, we wouldn't obtain knowledge, Just like I was sitting here thinking to myself, it seems like most of my growth spurts occur after a major loss or a major life change. Um, or the loss of a relationship, however that is. It seems like I always grow in from one event to another event, regardless of what the event is, regardless if I'm single when that event takes place, or if I was in a relationship when that event took place. Sitting here thinking about things like when I was homeless. At the time that I was homeless, in the moment that I was homeless, in that moment that I had to endure the elements. So I lived in a tent, or whenever I was living on the streets in different cities, we would always have to try to find a place to hunker down, depending on the weather, outside, whether or not we tried to find hunker down that had like a roof over us, um, or if we were just out in the open. Now, when we lived in a tent, we always had a roof over us, but we still had to endure the elements outside, like rain, snow, wind, things of that nature. Now, I don't have to endure the elements because I have a roof over my head. Am I any happier now than I was back then? Or is it just that my life situations have changed? And the perspective. That's what I'm wondering. I've been alone for the last 6 years of my life. A lot of it had to do with the fact that, I lost Earl unexpectedly. And it did take a toll on me. It changed my life in a minute. In a snap of the fingers. My life changed. I was thinking about the higher consciousness part also. I'll tell you a little story about instincts and gut instincts, and why I've kind of been talking about this higher consciousness outside of our time frame, and perhaps what the higher consciousness gives to us on occasion, and it comes through different ways. When Kelsey was little, there was a point in time where me and her dad were back together, but we weren't living together. And Halloween was about to come up, and I went down to see him at his place, which was in southeast Oklahoma, for the weekend. And we'd already made plans that I was going to leave Kelsey with him, and she was almost 4. She was like 3 years and 8 months old. And that I was just going to leave her with him for a few days, and then I would come back down the day before Halloween or on Halloween morning and hang out there for the whole weekend, and then he was going to turn around and come back up with me and Kelsey back up here to Purcell and stay with us for about a week. Anyway, when I was getting us ready to go down there for the weekend that I was going to leave her behind, Something inside of me told me not to pack anything for her, except for what we needed for the weekend. That she would not be staying with him, and that she was going to be coming back home with me. I didn't know why I felt this, or it was like a voice told me inside of me, you're not going to do these things. You're not going to pack extra clothes for her. You're not going to leave her with her dad. You're not going to, she's going to be coming home with you. I didn't know why I was feeling these feels, why I was hearing these things. But I went ahead and just followed it. And her dad didn't quite understand either. I told him, I was like, look, it's nothing against you. It's just something's telling me inside of me that I'm not supposed to be leaving her with you. And I don't know why. I can't do it. I gotta listen to my gut feeling, And he's like, yeah, a mother's instinct's always best, He's like, that's all right, we'll see each other. I was like, oh yeah, we'll see each other. It doesn't, we'll be back down in a few days. It's no big deal. We left on October 26th, 27th, something like that. I spoke to him on the night of October 29th and to the early morning hours of October 30th. I went to work on October 30th and tried to come home. I came home from work and there was a message on my answer machine that he was gone. I didn't understand it at first, but then I realized what was being said from this family member, and I immediately called his phone number, but he didn't answer, but his uncle did, and there I learned that he had passed away. They discovered him just probably a few minutes, before I gotten home. That's when they found him. And basically, he went to sleep that night, and he never got up the next morning. So, pretty much what I can figure is that as soon as he got off the phone with me, he probably did a couple things around the house. From what his family member said, the house was very tidy. The coffee was set to be made, but it never made. He never turned on the pot. Refrigerator was packed full of food because, well, he was preparing for Kelsey and I's arrival, etc., etc. He went to sleep and never woke up. He went to sleep that night and never woke up, and wasn't until the next. He'd already been gone for at least probably 15 to 16 hours by the time they discovered him. But it's that instinct. Okay, that's the part of my story that I was trying to talk about was the instincts. Just like right beside, there was this voice inside of me that said basically, Candy, what would you do if Daryl was no longer here? And I, of course, said, well, I don't think that way because, I wasn't thinking about him not being here in the physical sense. I was thinking about us both still being alive but apart, like we broke up or something. And I was just like, there's no way I could ever leave Daryl, and I know Daryl's never going to leave me, We're together until death do us part, That's the only thing that will part us is death. And probably about a month after those thoughts or less, he was gone. So I think it was my higher consciousness trying to prepare me for what was about to happen. Because of the fact that our higher consciousness, I believe is not in any place where time exists. So it sees everything from the moment we were born, conceived, all the way up to infinity. Because we are infinite. We are eternal beings. This life is just an experience of eternity. I mean, I watched something on a video tonight, and I haven't watched the whole video because it's like, shoot, I don't know, an hour and a half, something like that. And it's a lot of information to digest and take in, so I'm taking it in little bits and pieces. But the little bit that I did take in tonight talks about the consciousness, the soul, the ego. And I kind of lost my train of thought on where I was going with it, but oh, this guy presented a question as to if we weren't meant to incarnate into different lives and have different experiences throughout different parts of time or whatever, if we weren't meant to do that, then what's the point of just coming to Earth to live one life just to, to grow? I mean, because that's the purpose of us, is to grow, to obtain knowledge. But if we're only going to live one life, what's the purpose of attaining all this knowledge and growth if all we have is one life? You know what I'm saying? And that's what this person presented in their video. And I'm just like, well, that does make sense, Like I said, it's all these thoughts that I've been having since I've watched this video, relating it to experiences that I've had in my present life without Daryl, to my experiences that I had with Daryl, before Daryl. Just all these things. But see, I don't want to get caught up too much in that, because then you're getting caught up in your past, or you're getting caught up in a future that doesn't exist yet, I try to stay in the present, the here, the now, the moment. Excuse me. The here, the now, the moment, But at the same time, I guess it's a reflection, I try to reflect, but I try not to reflect too much. All I know is that I was with Daryl for a purpose. And when the purpose was over and I learned everything that I need to learn in that purpose, or in that season, I suppose, well, one of us had to go. Wasn't me. I'm still here. I'm still here carrying on. To do what? I have no idea. But I know it's something. Is it going to be big where, no, or is it just going to be something that not even the general public recognizes, or not even anybody outside of myself recognizes, Not even my own daughter. It's going to be something like that. I don't know. But everybody tells me I need to write a book. And I keep saying, yeah, that's what everybody tells me. But it's true. Everybody tells me I need to write a book. And with all the experiences I've had in my life, I should write a book. Honestly. I mean, I am so blessed. And I don't look at it like that. I look at it as, yes, I am so blessed. I don't have a lot, I don't have a lot of materialistic possessions. And I don't hardly have any money in the bank. I live paycheck to paycheck. And I do without. Just so I know my bills are paid. Because I have been homeless before. I know what it's like to live on the streets. I know what it's like to have nothing. And I've also grew up in a very well-to-do family. And I know what it's like to live on that side of the coin, too. And I also know what it's like to have to fend for myself, and pay for everything. But I have so many stories to share that I don't know if they'd help anybody else out in life or not. Or if people just listen to the stories, then maybe they would, or read the stories, they would understand what I've been through, and maybe it would give them strength and hope for themselves, you know? Because the way I look at it is like this: if I can make it through life with all the challenges that I've faced, anybody can make it through this life. You know? Challenges, sufferings are meant to mature us, to grow us for understanding, or to point us to an internal issue. Healing ourselves, dealing with traumas, embracing our shadow self and loving our shadow self. And there's this meme, and I think I posted it a long time ago, but it's basically Skeletor, the guy from He-Man. And he represents the shadow self. And he's like, and it says, basically something about, loving my shadow self, casting love on my shadow self, and basically this shadow self saying, what the hell, what the fuck, so it's kind of funny. But yeah, that's what we're supposed to do, and it's all a process, I guess, through all these evolutions, or all these incarnations that we've incarnated, all these lives, all the memories on our DNA strands. Why do you think certain people want to wipe out DNA strands? Wipe out things. I know all this goes deeper than what we've ever been led to believe, and I'm one to question things. I don't just take everything that I'm told to just at face value, I question everything, and yeah, I question everything. I think everybody should question everything that we've been taught. But Earth is the school for the soul, so I step back and I can see reasons why everything happens the way it happens, and why they have to happen the way they happen, because that's just part of life. That's just the way things are meant to be, I believe that we cross that we need to cross paths with at the time that we need to cross paths with them. And we experience the experiences we have because we need them. We might not necessarily want them, but we need them for our own growth, our own soul growth. Well, everybody, thanks for listening to my late night, Sunday night rant. But I'm coming close up on the 25-minute mark, and I'm going to get cut off. So, much love, everybody. Peace, love, hugs, nugs, and until the next time, peace, and bye for now.